I
I'm
get it.
waiting for them to come to my place.
I get it. And let me tell you, Kenny and I, we sit here and we do the exact same things that you do, except we do it here in St. Louis. And, I'm waiting for the time when I walk out the door and die in a hail of bullets. You know what I mean? Because the left are
Hmm.
crazy people. They're absolutely crazy people.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I wanted to talk to you, too, about the Israel-Hamas situation, if you don't mind. You okay with that?
Of course.
So it cracks me up that Chuck Schumer said,
Yeah.
how dare another country meddle in another country's elections, right? And then he goes and meddles in another country's election.
Just the audacity to think that he should tell, and Biden too, for that matter, that they should tell Netanyahu what to do. I mean, what people don't understand, a lot of people don't understand, is that, of course, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have wars and there would be ceasefires and all of that. But if Israel has a ceasefire, that is very dangerous, because that just allows Hamas and all the countries around Israel who hate Israel, it allows them to refuel, to get more weapons. Meanwhile, while Biden is saying, that he doesn't want to send more weapons to Israel. So it's just giving the other countries and other terrorists more ability to destroy Israel.
I'm actually shocked that more stuff hasn't happened. Putin invaded Ukraine. The Hamas terrorists killed 1,000 people. I'm surprised it's only been those two things, because the rest of the world, in case the libs don't realize it, they have TVs too, and they see Biden trying to speak English and falling down, just trying to walk.
Yes.
And it just displays this weakness. And Kenny and I are both under the assumption that if Donald Trump were president, neither of those two things or anything else would have happened.
Of course not. Of course not. He destroyed the caliphate of ISIS when he was president, and and now, of course, ISIS is overrunning our country secretly, quietly. But we're going to have, I have this podcast called the Terrorist Therapist Show, because I don't remember if we've talked about this before,
Yes,
but
we
since
have.
9/11, I've become the terrorist therapist.
Yep.
Okay, so I was talking about how because of Ramadan, that is the holiest month, and yes, it's a month for prayers and fasting, but it's also a month where good deeds are rewarded in the afterlife. And since terrorists believe, radical Islamists believe, that the best good deed is jihad, I was warning people in this latest podcast, that there are going to be attacks. And sure enough, Moscow happened. And then, of course, the Baltimore Bridge, although we don't have any proof that is a terrorist act. But, whenever Biden or the White House comes out and says this is not terrorism, you have to be worried.
Of course, because everything they say, the opposite is true. We have this little acronym that we've created here on the show, and we call it EDSTOIT. Everything Democrats say, the opposite is true. And it's because it's a little more than lying, I always use the example of the Russian collusion hoax, right? Not only was it a lie, but they did themselves. You see, it goes a little further. The opposite is true. So when they talk about, right, and when I hear Kamala Harris talk about Rafah, I'm like, oh, you couldn't even find it on a map. You know what I mean? You couldn't even find Israel on a map.
She thinks it's a Chinese dish.
Yeah, right. Where are my chops? I got some Rafah coming. All right, I want to talk to you a little bit, because we talked to one of our dearest friends that we talk to every Thursday. Her name is Karen Cataline, a Jewish woman, and she always says, because customarily Jewish people vote for Democrats, right? And
yes.
Karen says it's out of Jewish guilt. They do it because of Jewish guilt. But I mean, I think right now, if you're a Jew and you vote keeping these Democrats in office, I can't help you anymore. I can't even talk to you anymore.
Well, I know. It's so different from when, yes, it is true in the past, Jews, did typically vote Democrat, but because they are so for social, not social justice, social, taking care of people, basically.
Right.
But the party has changed, and we can't just vote what our grandparents voted.
Right.
It's. I mean, we are going to be. The bottom line is we are going to be in deep doo-doo if Trump doesn't win, and I've been thinking about this a lot because I think about why are people still planning on voting for Biden? Some people, because there are polls that have shown that a majority of people recognize that he does have dementia, or they don't say that that he's not fit for office, or that he's mentally compromised, or they put it in different ways. So if all these people recognize that, why still are so many people planning to vote for him? And of course, the answer is, this is the only thing that I can come up with, is that it's not really a vote for Biden. They could put a cockroach up as the nominee for president, and people who hate Trump would vote for the cockroach.
Boy, you're right. You're absolutely right. We're talking to Dr. Carole Lieberman, one of our favorite guests. She is America's psychiatrist. And on this show, at the 2022 midterms, right, everybody was talking about how it's going to be a landslide for Republicans, and Kenny and I just had a feeling about cheating and, not really good candidates. So whenever we had guests from the RNC or anywhere else, we would say, hey, listen, if you're going to say the words red wave or red tsunami, you're going to hear this, and we're going to say try again. And we were right. But
yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, that's why it kind of makes me nervous when, there are, of course, in most of the polls, Trump is ahead, but that kind of makes me nervous because that just means that the Democrats are going to try harder
to cheat, right?
Cheat,
right,
yes.
Right.
And so, keep it quiet that you're voting for Trump.
Dr. Lieberman, I don't know if you play poker, follow poker at all, but there are so many what they call tells, right? Your opponent. Poker isn't a card game with people. It's a people game with cards, right? So if your opponent, if you think he's bluffing, one of the reasons you may think he's bluffing is because he puts a ton of chips out there. I got a great hand, right? So they're lying. So when the 2020 election happened and they said it was the most secure election in history, I knew that they were full of stuff.
Yes. I know, and this whole thing about still, look at what just happened with NBC and the head of the former head of the Republican Party, and because they were angry at her, all the people or the other hosts are, they're getting her fired, and it's supposedly because of the fact that she still won't say that the 2020 election wasn't rigged.
Right. She's the worst. Absolute worst. All right. Final thought is if there's going to be some kind of red wave or a Ronald Reagan 49 state type of landslide for Donald Trump, it'll come down to the black vote, the Hispanic vote, and the Jewish vote. I really think that's the key. And the blacks and Hispanics, they're coming on board. I just worry about your Jewish friends there, Dr. Lieberman.
Well, I know. I've had some experiences where I've walked into a meeting of two situations where they were Jewish organizations, and I said something, and it was like there was this whole pushback. I just assumed that they were all going to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Because he's done more for Israel than any other president.
Yeah.
And so of course this was one group. Well, both of them actually, were pro-Israel groups. And so, I assumed that they were, loved him. So I was blown away, and yes, I tried to educate them, but it is, I don't know how much time we have, but Trump intimidates people, not necessarily one-on-one, but people see him on television and see him, he's very powerful, and which we kind of need in a president. And but some people, especially some men, get intimidated by that, and so that's part of why they, don't want to vote for him. Like, who does he think he is, kind of thing. Yeah. Well, okay, so yes, he is a little narcissistic. He's not a malignant narcissist. But you have to be a little narcissistic.
Not like Biden.
Not like me. So the last thing I want to say is that Trump, how many presidents, Dr. Lieberman, promised they would put the Israeli embassy in Jerusalem and reneged and never did it. Who did it? Donald Trump.
Exactly.
First thing they should think of. All right, Dr. Carole Lieberman, America's psychiatrist. Do you have a book or anything we could talk about? I know your show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've written 4 books, but the one that I am most I love the most is the latest one, which is Lions and Tigers and Terrorists.
Oh my.
How to protect your child in a time of terror.
Wow.
And the first half of the book is for grown-ups, parents, and teachers, how to talk to kids about terrorism and so on. And the second half of the book is a picture book for kids. It's like Terrorism Light. It doesn't omit anything. It has 9/11. It has the cartoon in France, that whole thing. It has the underwear bomber. It has 10 things kids can do to make themselves stronger, more resilient if there's a terror attack. I mean, it is, every household, a chicken in every pot, lions and tigers in every home.
Oh, my.
Because, kids are, oh, my, right.
Right.
Kids are recognizing what's going on in the world. They hear the Moscow attack and so on. They know what's going on.
Dr. Carole, MD, drcarole.com, theterroristtherapist.com. Dr. Carole Lieberman, we love having you. Please come back and talk to us again, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet. And thanks for doing the pledge for us. All right. And we just threw that at her seconds before we went on the air.
Yeah, literally,
so,
yes.
And I get it. You don't want to, it's not that you don't know it. It's that you don't dare want to make a mistake with something as important as a Pledge of Allegiance.
Exactly right. And that's what the concern always is.
She was great. Dr. Carole Lieberman. Go get the book. Check her out. Sit on her couch. We want me to tell you. Ken, I hate it. I absolutely hate it, but we'll do it. Kamala Lala is next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to The Vic Porcelli Show.
By the way, it used to make beer brewed here. It is used to make the brew beer here in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder what.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Somehow that's 81 million votes right there. All right, listen, things are getting crazy, and crime in St. Louis City. There was a guy found dead, shot in South City just last night. And the suburbs you're not exclusive from this, okay? Anything can happen no matter where you are. So I need you to protect yourself, your family, the people that you love, and your home with a firearm from Southern Armory. Aaron and Jessica there's lots of smart people about guns, but sometimes the smart people get a little condescending when you talk about guns, and they start getting into this lingo that you don't really understand. It's not going to happen at Southern Armory. They're going to walk you through it if it's your first firearm. They're going to find just the right firearm for you. For instance, my wife and I have different caliber firearms, okay? You just don't know until you put it in your hand, you feel it, and you get to talk about it and learn about it. And then when you get good, you get all the, accessories and gear that you need from Southern Armory. Southern Armory is also the place where you can get those Wise Food Buckets. See, Aaron and Jessica, they thought ahead on this too. Wise Food Buckets, food with a 25-year shelf life, cheaper than you can buy them online. So go on down to Watson Road, 9901 Watson Road, southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Report cards are a good way to show how well your kids are doing in class and where they might need improvement. We at the Show Me Institute believe schools should get grades too, so parents can see how their child's school compares to others. That's why we came up with the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on categories such as student performance in English language arts and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district has a grade, and the website is easy to use. And now we've added spending data for every district so parents, taxpayers, and policymakers can see where the money is going. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on NewstalkSTL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
This National Center for Public Policy update brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
We squeeze in a dry hump day under partly sunny skies.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, look, now I'm starting to get a little pissed off, okay?
Why?
We keep hearing about the dry hump day, and I haven't been able to dry hump on a Wednesday yet.
No.
Right? Where do you do it? Where do you do it? Is there a sign that
Lack
says...
of information. We're in the communication business.
Exactly.
And we can't get the information.
There should be a sign that says dry hump here.
Right.
This is where you dry hump.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it.
We squeeze in a dry hump day under partly sunny skies.
I'm ready.
Come on, Matt.
All right. Mark Carter from the St. Louis County Council closes up the show every Wednesday at 10:41. At 10:05, we're going to talk to our favorite afternoon guy and director of the Freedom Caucus, which, Grant, there's only one Freedom director. Tim Jones joins us at 10:05. Abortion and black women, we need to start a class, okay? We need to have a class free. You don't have to pay for it. You come in, and it's for black women only, and the black women come in the room, and we say, hey, listen, y'all, do you know why Planned Parenthood was started by Margaret Sanger? To eliminate black people from the population. Do they know that?
Right, and that could actually fall under the category of health.
Yes, it could.
Like they say abortion does, which does not.
Right. This actually is health. And I guess the reason why I want to do it is because nobody talks about that. Nobody tells them that was the original reason why Planned Parenthood was started. I mean, why would you support Planned Parenthood if you don't really know what it was all about?
Right.
It's like slavery, right? If you know, oh yeah, let's bring slavery back. No, that was terrible. Yeah, so is Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Terrible. On the same level. Worse in some cases because you're not even letting black babies be born.
Right.
Patrina Mosley from Project 20. Sorry. It just makes me so angry. It just uninformed people make uninformed choices. Right?
Right.
All right. And right now it's time for a little something we call Kamala Lala.
Kamala Lala, you've got nothing to say.
So I will say what I know we all say, and I will say over and over again.
That's why we're here today, because we have the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been, and then to make the possible actually happen.
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Kamala Lala, you've got nothing to say. Kamala Lala Lala, please go away.
You know what's funny, Ken? I hear her talk about what we're going to do. what this what we're going to do.
What we're going to do. What I'm going to do. Actually, she said it a couple days ago.
I don't even think she's in on the meetings. I'll be honest. Kamala, why don't you just wait outside? You know?
Yeah.
Because she can't handle this. She can't handle information. She's stupid. All right, Kenny, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, if we must, give me some Kamala.
We have been
Here we go.
clear in multiple conversations.
Okay, stop. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Every one of them.
We have been clear. Don't say we, okay? Granted, I'll give Karine Jean-Pierre credit. She says the president has been clear, right?
Yeah.
But Kamala has to say, we have been clear. I am part of this decision-making of this administration.
Right.
I don't think she is.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
And in every way that any major military operation in Rafah would be a huge mistake. Let me tell you something. I have studied the maps.
Here we go. She studied the maps. Here we go.
There's nowhere for those folks to go.
It's a strip. It's a strip, and there's one.
No, you're giving her way too much credit. You're giving her way too much credit. I've studied the maps. I've studied the map. 4 words. I've studied. She doesn't even know what that means. I've studied, right? The maps. She couldn't find Israel or the Gaza Strip on a map if it said Israel and Gaza Strip on the map.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And we're looking at about 1.5 million people in Rafah who are there because they were told to go there, most of them.
Stop. They were told to go there, most of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know it's a lie when they can't forcefully say they were all told to go.
Right. She won't even nail down her statement.
She can't commit.
Right.
They were told to go, some of them. A few of them.
Right.
I think Aunt Mary.
I didn't even pick up on that. That's so true.
Aunt Mary was told to leave, but that's about it.
I demand, kind of.
Right.
That
exactly. Ken.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any more?
Yeah.
Ugh. Go ahead.
And so we've been very clear that it would be a mistake to move into Rafah with any type of military operation.
A mistake, but would there be consequences if he does move forward?
Well, we're going to take it one step at a time, but we've been very clear
Stop.
in terms.
There you go. No committal once again.
None at all, man.
Well, we're going to take it one step at a time.
See how many people die. See if they give any people back.
See how many people.
Maybe.
How many deaths we can blame on Netanyahu.
Or Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Of our perspective on whether or not that should happen.
Are you ruling out that there would be consequences from the United States?
I am ruling out nothing.
Oh, you're so forceful, Kamala. I'm ruling out nothing. We can do anything we want.
But again, that's non-committal.
Yeah,
I love that.
Right.
When you hit that was right on.
She is just, come on, an idiot. How in the Willie Brown did she ever get any of these jobs that she's got? Oh, that's right, Willie Brown. So I despise when she says, here's what we're doing. So if she's in on the meeting of whatever, and she raises her hand, I'm sure they say, okay, we'll get to you. We'll get to you later, Kamala.
Yeah.
We don't really want to hear what they say. So, Ken, I really hate what's happened with the relationship between the United States and Israel. Okay? When Donald Trump was president, Benjamin Netanyahu knew Trump had his back all the way. And now he's like getting people like Chuck Schumer, who told other countries not to meddle in our elections, and now he's meddling in another country's elections, right?
There's so much to say here, and there's no time. Because you and I have talked about this from the very beginning, from October 8th. Well, the first time we came back from October 7th, okay, we were talking about this, that eventually this Biden administration is going to go from supporting Israel to being against them.
Yep.
And look what they're doing right now.
Yep.
And Benjamin Netanyahu, remember, he didn't come to the last meeting he was supposed to be at here at the White House.
And he's not sending a delegation now.
Right.
So, all right, Ken, we really need to skip and go right to the Wayback Machine, I think, because we're running out of time. Ken gets these great Wayback Machine clips that we want to play. And there we go. We're going back to the year 2021, around there, 2021, and a little geography lesson from the woman who has studied the maps.
Right.
Okay, in Israel. Go ahead.
If you're watching any level of news, even social media, you're seeing everything that's going on right now in the Ukraine. Break it down in layman's terms for people who don't understand what's going on and how can this directly affect the people of the United States.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
Basically, that's wrong. All right, Ken's getting us back to the year 2024.
What he meant to ask her, what he meant for her to do was to explain the situation in layman's terms so we could all understand it. She's describing a map.
So can I make an analogy here between Kamala and Joe? Her saying that Russia is a country like we've never heard of Russia, right?
Right.
All us stupid Americans never heard the word Russia or the country Russia before, so she had to tell us that, is the same as Biden saying, my son has never made money from, what's this thing you're talking about? Oh, China.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like this, China, Russia, two of our biggest adversaries in the world, and they're talking about it like, Brooklyn, Queens, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy. It's terrible. I hate her. I hate it. I hate this segment. I know. I love it.
I know. It's fun. Once in a while. When we do it once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, no, and we need to. Her voice, her attitude, her lack of intelligence, her saying, I've studied maps.
Yeah. But the thing about that map, it would be one map, number one. And it's rectangle. There's nothing. Gaza is a strip. That's all it is.
She makes it sound like she's Magellan with all the maps all rolled up. Here's the new layer.
She's a cartographer.
Right. God almighty. All right. So what we were talking about there with black people and abortion, they need to understand what Planned Parenthood was from the beginning. And we'll talk to Patrina Mosley from Project 21 and the National Center for Public Policy Research. I know what you're thinking. Vic needs to stop drinking in the morning. I swear to God, hiccups just come sometimes. I don't know where they come from. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1. Number one for live and local conservative talk. The Powder Blues take us to break.
Follow us on Rumble at NewstalkSTL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Turbocharge turbocharge the emerging global clean energy economy.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Columbo and Katie.
Missouri lawmakers are back from spring break, and there's a lot of news coming out of Jeff City this week. We'll fill you in Wednesday when we talk to Missouri political insider Rodney Boyd at 2:20. Then we'll open closest candidate at 3:05.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Kickstart your spring with spring into green savings on a John Deere compact tractor at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. For a limited time, we have 0% financing for 84 months with zero down on select models. Plus, when you purchase an in-stock model year 23 compact tractor, you'll save up to an additional $2,500. Take home the tractor of your dreams today. Visit snpartners.com for more information.
Offer valid through 4/26/2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Congratulations to everyone at Connor Roofing. We chose the Connor Roofing team for our National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction without telling anyone at Connor Roofing, based on over 30 years of fantastic customer reviews. Rob and Kathy Connor and their team deliver very high-quality roofing, siding, gutters, storm damage restoration at a fair price with integrity. Connor Roofing has had an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau for years. Count on Connor. For an estimate, please visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com.
Hello, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Eric, your diamonds are so fantastic at Newsteaders. You named the website after them, wowdiamonds.com. Tell us about Wow Diamonds.
Well, we picked that name because when people look at the diamonds, they all exclaim the same thing. Everybody says, wow. And nobody can spell Newsteaders, so we figured Wow Diamonds would definitely be a good tagline, and it's very accurate. We actually introduced the lab-grown diamond to our St. Louis family, and we're the exclusive home of the trademark marked Wow Diamond. It's the most perfectly cut and polished diamond you'll ever experience, and we can fit one into anyone's budget. The thing that's nice about them is they're significantly less expensive than a mined diamond, and of course the artwork is in the cutting and polishing. That's where you get the beauty in the diamond, and that's what we excel at.
Newsteaders, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. Stop by and find out why. 2961 Daughtery Ferry Road, or on the internet, wowdiamonds.com for Newsteaders, fine jewelers.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Brought to you in part by Modern Weapons Systems in Fenton.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
Thanks for being my voice in all this.
This is News Talk STL.
There are people out there that feel the way that I feel and say what I say.
Welcome home. This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Get ready, pal. You're going in for a problem.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
And welcome to it. I'm Vic Porcelli. That is Ken Williams over there, the great one. Let's talk to Patrina Mosley. She's from Project 21 and the National Center for Public Policy Research. Patrina, thanks for being with us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, our pleasure. Trust me. So we talk about on this show all the time. Okay. I don't know what the black population that listens to this show. Ken, do you think we have black people listening to this show?
Absolutely. We get a lot of conservatives.
Yeah, a lot of conservative black people listen to the show. But I really wish I could sit a whole bunch of them down in an auditorium, you know, the ones that support Planned Parenthood, and say, you know, you guys, Margaret Sanger made Planned Parenthood to extinguish all of you, to kill all of you. She hated black people. Why do black people support Planned Parenthood when that was the mission statement?
You know, I think what the left has done a good job at, to their credit, is marketing. And for so long, for the last 40 years, they marketed to everyone that abortion is a woman's right, number one, and that it is a quote-unquote personal issue. And especially in the black community, which is the most religious community and culture in this country.
Yes.
They will say that I'm personally pro-life, but, you know, I still want it to be someone's choice if they need it, you know, if they want it. And that type of thinking we have to reverse. And I think this week's case is the perfect opportunity to do that.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
So though we don't know what the legal outcome will be in the courts about FDA and pro-life gynecologists suing over the abortion pill will be, but the harm that this literal poison pill has done to women, and to black women most of all, who are 35% or more of the ones who are receiving abortions, is undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is the time to start changing their minds.
Yep. And I'll say a couple of things. Hold on, I got to write this down, because every word you say is important, and I want to write it down and talk about it. So what you were talking about there is how the left is great at narratives, right? They're great at taking a narrative, even if it's not true. Most of it is not true, if not all of it is not true. But what you said there is so important, because I always thought that the black lifestyle is a very conservative lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. It is. And, I mean, that's why you do see more black men than ever coming out for the Republican primary candidate, Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is why, because we want to have money in our pockets. We want less government control, and we want to strengthen our families. But, you know, the marketing has been, don't vote Republican, don't vote conservative, because they're going to kill grandma, or they're going to, as quote, Biden here. They're going to put you back in chains.
Ooh.
And and that's just not the case. And so right now is a perfect opportunity not only to continue to gather in more black males who are losing jobs to the illegal immigration that's happening here, but also black women on the issue of abortion, because they are directly being harmed by these doctors. They're giving them a literal poison pill, like I said earlier, that takes out mother and child. They get two for the price of one when they send out these pills in the mail. So, with this right here, the stats are that 1 in 25 of women who take the abortion pill will end up in the emergency room. We've already had over 30 cases of fatality. And unfortunately, those cases didn't have to be reported. So thank God we got at least 30 on the books, but how many more are not?
Right.
So, right here is where we got to start changing the narrative with actual facts that they're being harmed.
I promise I will steer this conversation back to the abortion pill. I promise. But I just want to make a point that the left and their narrative sometimes go in different directions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black lives matter, but not black babies' lives? I mean, that's a kind of a contradiction in itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. I tell people the best way to be a racist is to make sure that we have more black babies being born, right?
You're right. You're absolutely right. All right, so back to the abortion pill. This came out so many years ago, and nobody on the right or anybody with a conscience thought it was a good idea, because there are women, Patrina, that use abortion as birth control, unfortunately, right? And I'm not saying black women, women, they use it as birth control. And, it's still killing a baby, whether you do it through an abortion or an abortion through a pill, which is actually an abortion anyway. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And, that, again, is part of the marketing that we are changing. On a positive note, we are changing the minds of people when you look at the numbers of how many abortion centers there are compared to how many pregnancy resource centers there are.
Exactly.
So, there's 4 times as many pregnancy centers that help women in need, to help change their minds, to give them actual resources to parent than it is abortion clinics. And that's great. And that's just simple market demand right there. So that's one point. The other is, like, you're absolutely right. They do use it as birth control because law is a direct flow from culture. We have devalued life to the point where mothers are doing the most unnatural thing they could ever do, and that's taking the life of the child.
Yep.
So, apart from the law, we have to become a culture that, number one, values life, and number two, values the sacredness of sex. You can't get around it. You can't get around marriage and family. And when you do, it affects the morality of your country, as we've seen, the devaluing of life, and it affects your economics.
You're right.
So you can't get around it.
We're talking to Patrina Mosley from the National Center for Public Policy Research and Project 21. So we couldn't talk about this this issue at a better time, right? Supreme Court's talking about the abortion pill. All right, I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, I screwed this up when I asked Ken. Mifepristone, is that how you say it? Okay, so
yes.
What do you know? What's your gut feeling? I mean, you study this every day. What's your gut feeling on what's going to happen and come out of the Supreme Court?
I'm not sure. Excuse me. I believe that right now, the fact that they're hearing this case is a good sign.
Yep.
Looking at the case and hearing the arguments, the judges are asking good questions. What we have to worry about is the 3 justices that are on there that tend to lean more left.
Yep.
So, those are the ones to be concerned about, that they can cut through the political biasness that they may have and see the facts of harm and see the legal standing of professional people who are in women's health to bring this suit. And that's what the other side is arguing. The pro-abortion industry side for ADF, they are arguing that this Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine does not have standing to bring this case. Well, who better? Who better than obstetricians and gynecologists who professionally handle women's health every day to say that we're tired of seeing women come in with blood clots from the abortion pill. We're tired of seeing women coming in with hemorrhaging. We're tired of seeing women coming in with incomplete abortions. We're tired of you lying to them in your medical guidelines in the abortion pill, telling them to lie when they have complications, they just go to the emergency room and say that you are just hemorrhaging, but don't tell them what you took. So there is direct harm here. And like I mentioned, 1 in 25 women have experienced adverse effects from the abortion pill, and we only know about 30 fatal cases because they're not required to report anything. And lastly, I'll say on this point is when one of the justices asked them, well, who is able to bring a case against you all, against FDA? She said, no, we expect that we would have sovereign immunity in arguments in our cases. So wait, no one can bring charges against you? No one can sue you for damages? And this just paints a picture that not only women, but Black women take a backseat to real women's health. And again, this is the time to start changing the narrative of the abortion industry does not love you. They do not want to take care of you. It is a trap, and it is obvious about the harm that they're allowing to happen.
Oh, and that is so true. And Patrina, regarding the Supreme Court justices, how much do you think this comes into play, though, is that they don't want to mess with the abortion issue emotionally because of what happened last time when it was a lightning rod for the whole country, and they're looking at this one and saying, we might just need to leave this one alone. How much do you think that comes into play in the situation?
I think that comes a lot into play. I think that the conservative justices that we have will need a lot of courage to overcome that, and for the liberal justices that are there to really look at the harm to a demographic that they claim to really care for, and that's women.
Exactly.
And again, and that's Black women. The harm that's been done to women with this chemical abortion, do-it-yourself abortion method, that's really what it is undeniable.
Patrina,
and when you look at the facts of that, you can see that this is a case worth having.
I got to tell you, I'm not optimistic about this, because when you go back and you look at the 2022 midterms, the Supreme Court shot down Roe v. Wade and Dobbs, and the pro-life stance, believe it or not, in this country is what lost so many seats and why the Republicans didn't do well in 2022. It's like such a conundrum, You want to save lives, but it's going to cost us elections. I mean, we shouldn't be put in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think what Republicans need to do, and I'm not trying to, be too partisan here, but for those who do vote Republican, need to have candidates that are really strong on making a contrast argument. The reason why Democrats and leftist candidates keep winning is that they're not afraid to talk about abortion. They're very clear about their goals for abortion, and they don't shy away from it. They talk about it directly. And so what we have to do as conservatives is make a bold, compelling argument and take it head on and make a clear contrast towards, do you want women to end up in the hospitals with hemorrhages, blood clotting, and death, or do you want women who are cared for, safe, and helping them to build strong families and take care of their child? That's clearly it.
Yep, no doubt about it. Patrina Mosley from Project 21 and the National Center for Public Policy Research. You can find her at Patrina Mosley on Twitter.
Patrina P. Mosley.
I'm sorry, Patrina P. Mosley, nationalcenter.org, and at Project 21 News. Hey, Patrina, this is the first time we've had a chance to speak with you. I really like the things you have to say and the way you say them. So when this issue keeps going, or even, in the future, let's keep in touch, okay?
I would love that. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
All right, you guys take care.
Oh, you too. Thank you so much. It's so crazy. Black Lives Matter. Oh, but not the unborn baby.
Right.
Those Black lives don't matter, Ken.
That's policy.
They don't
matter.
Different.
That's policy.
All right, we have a minute. Can we do the chat box
in
a
go
minute?
ahead.
That's up to you, fatty, how quick you talk. Ed Story says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of America. No fair election.
No peace.
No fair election.
No peace.
He also says, real men don't get intimidated by Trump. Weak men do.
Yeah.
I believe Donald John Grover Cleveland Trump respects strong people. He does. And somebody said, please, Kamala Lala Venn diagram.
No kidding, man.
And Duke says the same thing. I wonder if Kamala studied the map of a Venn diagram. Dave Stouffer, wish all my all-American ultra freedom-loving people.
We'll get back to it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I promise we'll do Chatbox 2.0 coming up sometime next hour. Tim Jones coming up first thing next hour. This hour's over already?
Yeah.
2 hours ain't enough. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anybody listening? All right, news is next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
Does your life insurance plan include living benefits, hearing, diabetic supplies, teledoc service, discounts on urns, caskets, tombstones? Larry Connors here. I suggest you call Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Call 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Seavers JCB has amazing deals on JCB mini excavators ranging from 2 tons to 10 tons. It's your choice to take 5 on one of these great offers. 0% financing for 5 years or up to $5,500 cash rebate and a 5-year warranty. See terms and conditions for details, but don't wait too long. These offers are for a limited time at Seavers JCB. And check out their full line of industry-leading JCB equipment. Check them out online at SeaversJCB.com.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo for the cleaning pros at Zero Res. It's time for spring cleaning, and there's no one that can help you with that more than the team at Zero Res, especially with this great offer. Book a cleaning in March, mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Plus, you can take $50 off your air duct cleaning and 20% off your upholstery, which is a service we've used many times. Just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating
With
10
you.
million
Nos
subscriptions
vamos a
sold.
divertir.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rex Thomason.
This is no ordinary bridge. This is one of the cathedrals of American infrastructure.
Transportation Secretary Buttigieg, who says the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore will be rebuilt after collapsing when it was hit by a container ship. 6 construction workers missing after the accident are now presumed dead. The search for their bodies continues. Maryland Governor Wes Moore says divers went back into the water this morning.
I can't stress enough the heroism of these folks. They are in frigid conditions. They are down there in darkness where they can literally see about a foot in front of them. They are trying to navigate mangled metal, and they're also in a place that it is now presumed that people have lost their lives.
Moore says he met with the families of the missing construction workers. Prime Minister Netanyahu vowing to press ahead with Israel's offensive. He's blasting a UN Security Council resolution calling for a pause in the fighting in Gaza, saying it has emboldened Hamas to reject a separate ceasefire proposal. A New York judge has slapped a gag order on Donald Trump, this in the so-called hush money criminal trial.
The gag order prohibits the former president from making public statements about witnesses, prosecutors, court staff, and jurors. The judge granted the prosecution's request for a gag order, citing Trump's prior comments about him and others in the case, as well as a looming April 15 trial date. Under terms of the order, Trump can make comments about the judge or Manhattan DA, but must not attack key figures in the case. Greg Clugston, the White House.
A Texas law allowing the state to arrest and deport suspected illegal aliens remains on hold. A federal appeals court has extended a ban on enforcement of that statute while a challenge works its way through the courts. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 219 points, the NASDAQ 3 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Biden has started tracking Christians like cattle. Yes, you heard it right. He pressured banks to tag transactions for certain keywords. One of them is Holy Bible. That's a horrifying and creepy attack on our religious freedoms. It's made possible by a digital financial system that makes you a sitting duck. But you do have other options. I recommend a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst, a best-selling author, and evangelical leader to people who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Biden's anti-Christian bureaucracy while also preserving your retirement savings. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text faith to 989898. There are no strings attached. So text faith to the number 989898 right now and take action to protect your own.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. Give Benjamin Schaefer a call at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Leah Hill. Many starting with a freeze as you head out early. If you're west of St. Louis, you are under a freeze warning until 9 a.m. Temperatures as you head out in the 30s, but this will give way to 54 degrees this afternoon. Decreasing cloud cover, but today is the coolest day of the week. Tomorrow, we are back in the 60s, and I have many 70s ahead of us in the week ahead. Storm chances starting some point on Sunday and continuing through Tuesday morning. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Welcome to it. 1019 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk. I'm Vic Porcelli. Ken Williams, the one and only, across the way there, making everything sound really good. And, that's what he does. Mark Carter from the St. Louis County Council coming by at 10:41 this morning. And there's so much stuff, it's hard to fit it all in, I got to tell you. But there's some other things we want to do, like Joe Biden talking about this bridge collapse in Maryland, like every other story has to make it about himself, right? It's not about the people who died. It's not about the people who are missing, right? It's not about that, the infrastructure in this country is crumbling because of his terrible transportation secretary. It's whatever the story is, he has to make himself part of the story. That's how we got to the point where we said, oh, he was born a poor black child in a Puerto Rican neighborhood, raised by Greeks. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
He's just a narcissist. All right, Ken, I have one question for you.
Sure.
You ready for this?
Former Speaker of the House.
You just proved why you left-wing loons are so insane.
Y'all ready for this? King Jones.
We are ready for this. Speaker Jones, good morning. How are you, sir?
Well, I don't know if you're ready for this today. I got a lot to unload.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that's good. That's good stuff.
Unload the wagon.
Yeah. Do you want to just go, or you want me to ask you some questions, or you want us to just leave? Just go and we'll kind of go get a cup of coffee and come back? What do you want to do?
Well, despite what some say about Thunder Stealer Ken, I do know this is the Vic Porcelli Show. So, Vic, I'll let you dealer's choice. What would you like to know about first today?
Well, what I would like to do is talk about your tweet from 16 hours ago. You said,
yes, sir.
Like every other Democrat government welfare expansion has been a total disaster. Private insurance. Ken, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Private insurance.
You ready for this?
I swear to God, I didn't even mean to do it. I'm just that brilliant. I didn't mean to do that. Private insurance premiums have risen for the third year in a row. Average workplace premiums for employees and families jumped 7% to, you ready for this? $24,000 a year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Vic, when was the last time either of you, between the three of us, we watch, we're just simple hillbillies from Missouri, right? But between the three of us, we watch a lot of news, right? We watch a lot of news. We read a lot of news. We ingest a lot of information. When was the last time either of you saw any Democrat on national corporate media, on any of the Sunday shows, on any of the crappy alphabet soup, three-letter word networks, talking about how wonderful Obamacare has been over the last 15 years. What have they said? Well, now that we passed Obamacare and it's 15 years old, we have solved the health care and health insurance crisis in our country. Have they declared victory? Did I miss the mission accomplished banner? I mean, guys, seriously, I don't recall anybody saying anything about Obamacare. Now, when it gets attacked, as it should, as you just read through my tweet there, with the completely appropriate criticism of its abject failure, well, then they'll defend it and say, well, yeah, but, in this one place, in this one area, this one young lady did get health care. You can always find the anecdotes. But, gentlemen, have you seen them crowing about the massive national successes of Obamacare, how it's driven down health care insurance costs for tens of millions of Americans, how everybody can get as much health care as they want? I haven't seen it. I don't think you have either.
No, and you know what? That was the biggest lie. They call Trump the big lie, right? The biggest lie ever in political history was, if you like your doctor, you can keep him.
So the Ed Stoid is true, right, on that issue. The opposite is true.
And real quick, Tim, you know what they're doing, though? They are talking about it, but they're calling it the ACA. You'll never hear anyone in the legacy Pfizer media ever say it's Obamacare. They always say the Affordable Care Act. And by the way, I lost my insurance during that time, and when I tried to get insurance, Tim, it was amazingly expensive, and I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
And so let me tell you what the biggest failure of Obamacare is, something that they said would never happen because the federal government would be there for everyone and would save us from ourselves. What's happening is in all the states that either did or were forced, we were forced to expand Medicaid here in Missouri. The legislature stopped it for 15 years. I stopped it as majority leader and speaker. People after me stopped it. It was forced on us with that completely corrupt, broken initiative petition process we have, which we've been talking about for the last 3 months ad nauseum. Everybody should know about how broken and corrupt that non-citizen-led initiative petition process is. It's a leftist billionaire-led process is what it is. But it passed through the ballot because they used all this ballot candy and all this fake news about what it was going to do. Guess what it's doing, gentlemen? It is busting Missouri's budget. It is a runaway freight train because it's an entitlement. So it grows dramatically to the tune of millions and now tens of millions of dollars. And now we have to find the money for it. Well, of course, that was the plan all along, right? The plan all along was for the federal government to have the big giant carrot and then to back out of the proposal and then start beating the legislatures with the big giant stick to cause them to raise taxes to continue to fund this completely broken entitlement system. It was a complete bill of goods. It was a house of cards. It's falling apart now. And you know what the biggest problem with the expansion is? It's encouraging working class, otherwise able-bodied Missourians to go on the welfare plan of Medicaid. It's convincing employers to drop the private health insurance. The plan all along, this was not health care reform. It wasn't care reform at all. It was insurance reform. It was designed to put the insurance companies out of business because that's what government monopolies do, right? And the market can't compete with the unlimited, quote, unlimited, it's borrowed money from China, the unlimited government subsidies, right? And so that's what you eventually do. It hasn't provided anybody any additional care. It hasn't provided anybody any additional insurance. It's just been a failure from beginning to end. It's extremely costly. The numbers in health insurance continue to skyrocket. It's done nothing except insert the government into yet another area of our economy and our lives that it has no business being in the first place. This is nowhere in the Constitution. This is a complete abomination of federalism, and it's completely destroying the market, and it's going to destroy state budgets like Missouri's going down the road.
Okay. What we're going to do here, Tim, I'm going to ask you two more quick questions, and then I'm going to just let you go on whatever was, making your kettle boil this morning, okay? My first thing is we talked to Nick yesterday, Nick Schroer, and I asked him about a couple of scenarios. The first scenario, I said, are there Republicans now in the Missouri legislature who are seeing what the Freedom Caucus is doing and saying, hey, these guys, maybe they know what they're talking about. And coming over to the good side, that was number one. And number two, the people that we talk about all the time, Tim, are Republicans in name but not conservative at all. And are they doing that just because they're afraid that Robert De Niro might be upset with them? So take those one at a time.
Yes. So the answer to your first question is yes. We have already had an additional 5 House members raise their hand, approach us, and volunteer to join the Freedom Caucus. So in the space of barely 3 months, the Freedom Caucus in Missouri has gone from 0 members, because we didn't exist, to now 21 members of the Missouri Freedom Caucus. These are movement-minded conservatives. But yet, despite what the left, the media, the moderates, the consultant class, the special interests say, they're not crazy conservatives. They are conservatives who want to do nothing more than move forward public policy solutions that are encapsulated and described in the Missouri Republican and National Republican Party platform. Wow. Now your listeners are going, well, aren't they doing that anyway? The answer is absolutely not. They're not. Yeah. That's why the Freedom Caucus exists. So It's funny, right? Because doesn't the Freedom Caucus on the national level, they always get blamed for being obstructionist, blah, blah, blah. And that's because they have to stop really bad stuff in the federal government. In Missouri, we're the opposite of the obstructionists. We're the advanced team. We actually want to get things done. These are things that the center-left governing majority in Jefferson City, you're like, wait a minute, Tim, isn't it all Republicans? Republicans in name only in many situations. What happens in Jefferson City is moderate Republicans team up with the special interests who bring the Democrats on board, and that's what your governing majority is in Jefferson City. It is a center. That's why I say it's a center-left governing majority, right? That's exactly what it is. The Freedom Caucus represents the conscience, the North Star of the true Republican Party, of the movement conservatives who want to do things, who want to do really crazy crap like cut taxes so you can have more money in your pocket, who want to help businesses stay in Missouri instead of continuing to move out to the southern states, who want to grow their families and their businesses and keep them here, reduce regulations, make Missouri a worker freedom state, an educational freedom state, protect life and our Second Amendment rights. Government's sole responsibility is not to make up rights out of thin air and try to advance those through progressive policies and massive government spending. It's to protect the citizens by enforcing the constitutional rights that are already written in the Missouri and U.S. Constitution. That's the purpose of the Freedom Caucus, and that's why we've grown from 0 members to 21 members, and we expect with this next election cycle to add a lot more members on. Those and yes, Vic, those who are wary of the Freedom Caucus, you'll be happy to know they're starting to wake up and smell the coffee and realize that, they need to at least start pretending to be more like Republicans, because people see there's nothing crazy about what we have pulled back. We have peeled back the onion and showed people that there is a super majority of Republicans truly in name only in Jefferson City. And when the rubber meets the road, there's so many people that are not willing to press the yes button on all of the common sense conservative priorities that Missouri should be passing time and time over again. Do you know that our session is one of the longest in the country? We always talk about Florida, right? Yeah. Did you know that Florida has done all the great things that they've done under Ron DeSantis over the last few years with a 60-day annual session? 2 months.
Wow.
They're in session for 2 months.
And we can't get anything done in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, they cut taxes, they protect kids from the woketocracy, they reduce regulations, and that's why, guys, when I was down there last week, that's why I was off last week, when I was down, good Lord, you can't drive anywhere without being, it almost makes you smile to be in a traffic jam down there, because it's because of construction and building and roads and buildings and people moving there. And it's not just because of the sunshine and the palm trees, because they've also got hurricanes and mosquitoes the size of vultures. It's because of their no tax environment, right to work, educational freedom policies that they continue to strengthen year in and year out.
Tim, I was going to ask, I know we got off track a little bit, but how much of the rhinos that are outstate Missouri that are actually Democrats that could only be elected as Republicans, so that's why they say they're Republicans?
Correct. Yeah, Ken, you're right about that. And look, I'm not going to fault anyone for volunteering to serve in public service. But if you're going to campaign as a conservative and then govern as a Democrat, then just be brave enough and have enough balls to run as a Democrat.
There you go.
Or do it in another state. Do it somewhere else.
Do it in another
Yeah,
state.
do
it on somebody else's
Do it
dime.
in Illinois.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they'll embrace you. All right, one more quick thing, and then we're going to let you go. Not go.
Yes, sir.
We're going to let you go crazy. You put up a poll with some pretty startling results. Tim said, how much will Democrats cheat in the 2024 election? Less than usual, about the same, more than usual. Less than usual, 1.3%. About the same, 14.7%. More than usual, 84%. People do not believe in free and fair elections, or at least they don't believe they're happening.
Yeah, I did that poll to prove a few points. First of all, I knew it would absolutely inflame and incense the left. So that's my first goal and purpose in life every morning when I wake up, and I accomplish that in spades every day. But more importantly, yes, yes, Vic, I wasn't just being funny. I was proving the point that people do not trust the incredible institutions that we built in this country over the last 235, 40 plus years, right? And that should terrify everyone. I want people to trust our judiciary, to trust our legislative branch, to even trust our government agencies. But if they don't trust the electoral process, how can they trust any of that? I want people to go vote this year, right? I do need you to go vote. I understand that the trust in these institutions has failed. That's exactly what the left wants. The left wants to destroy and tear down our institutions because they hate this kind. I'm tired of saying, there's some good people on the left. If you're a leftist, you're not a good person. You're trying to destroy America.
Right.
Are there a couple of old school Democrats lying around still? JFK, even maybe some Bill Clinton Democrats. Sure they are, but they don't understand. Their party's gone. That party doesn't exist anymore. The new Democratic Party is nothing but a bunch of raging, authoritarian, commie Marxists who want to destroy our institutions. They want to destroy our country because they've got some Pollyannish view that they're going to rebuild this nation into some kind of socialist utopia that has been tried a million times in humankind's history, and it's always failed. We are the best experiment on the planet, the experiment of a democratic republic, a constitutional republic. It should always be improved upon. It should always be reformed year in and year out. None of it's perfect. The Republican Party is definitely not perfect. We're the stupid party. The Democrats are the insane party. But you don't destroy the basic foundations, the firmament of the institution itself. You just make it better. We want to make it better as Republicans, as conservatarians. They want to destroy it.
All right. Ken, put 2 minutes on the clock. Whatever was pissing you off before you picked up the phone this morning, Tim, you got 2 minutes. Go!
Timmy!
We have to, I told you I'd get back to this. We have to get the initiative petition reform bill across the finish line. And gentlemen, there are now, just to show you how important that bill is, that bill has the most to do with what political office in this state? Secretary of State. Yes, governor is arguably the most important because it's the executive and has a lot of power in Missouri, just like any other gubernatorial office. But gentlemen, there are 8 people, a bunch of people defiled from the offices they were running for. One was running for Congress, one was running for lieutenant governor, and a flood of people rushed to the Secretary of State's office yesterday to file to be the next Secretary of State because Jay Ashcroft, as we know, is running for governor. 8 people, and these aren't just 8 yahoos, right? These are people who all have some sort of base for significance or name ID. Senator Denny Hoskins, member of the Freedom Caucus, Speaker Dean Plocker, the Speaker of the House, Senator Mary Elizabeth Coleman was running for Congress. Now she's running for Secretary of State. Why are all these people running for Secretary of State? Well, because we have an IP process that needs to be reformed. But I'm telling you, there's a bunch of consultants out there who see the IP process as a gold mine for them, right? These are rent-a Republicans. These are Republicans that these leftist billionaires come in, they rent them for an election cycle, and then these rent-a Republican consultants try to convince everyone that, no, Medicaid expansion really is a good idea. Ranked choice voting is the best thing since sliced bread, right? They do it for the Benjamins. And therefore, these consultants, they want a Secretary of State that they can control. Now, Denny Hoskins, member of the Freedom Caucus, he's not going to be controlled by anybody except the conservative North Star and the conservative conscience of the freedom movement. Everybody else, you have to wonder, why are they in this race? And you know what? The other two people I mentioned, Speaker Plocher and Mary Elizabeth Coleman, they have the power to get that initiative petition reform bill across the finish line. Coleman is the handler of the bill, of the Senate bill, and Plocher has the ability to get that bill, that Senate bill, which is in the House, back to the Senate and get it done. You need to watch them very closely. Denny Hoskins will be pushing hard. Will Plocher and Coleman be as well? If you're running for Secretary of State and you're in the legislature right now, there's others there as well. Representative Schwadron is there, and I'm forgetting some of the others. Not on purpose. There's 8 of them running. If you're in the legislature and you're running for Secretary of State, your priority over the next 7 weeks of the legislative session should be to get that across the finish line. Put the non-citizen voting prohibition back in it, get it back to the Senate, and pass it. If you don't, then you will have literally have blood on your hands. You will be responsible for abortion on demand passing in our ballot this year and all the other stuff that the leftist billionaires utilize that process for as their personal little playground. The time for Missouri's Constitution to be hijacked every election cycle by some leftist billionaire and their fanciful communist fad of the day needs to be over. You should not be able to amend Missouri's Constitution with a 50% plus one vote. We don't do that federally. It takes 2/3, right? Yep. So our model should be more along the lines of the U.S. Constitution and not have the Missouri Constitution be like an annual public opinion poll. That's my piece.
Phew, man, I'm exhausted, but I love it. All right, so I just want to point out before we let you go and before we leave, the best thing since sliced bread. Now, the second time this week that has come up because Nick mentioned it in Chillicothe in Missouri. It was the home of sliced bread. Did you know that?
I did at one point. You just reminded me of it. Yes, we are with in Missouri for so many great things.
Yes, we are, including you. Tim Jones, you'll hear him this afternoon, 4 o'clock. With Chris Arps, director of the Freedom Caucus. Mr. Speaker, we love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Love you too. Right back at you.
Hey, Tim.
Yep.
Whoosh.
There you go.
Brother.
Whoosh, my speaker. All right. Mark Carter, 1041. Up next, we're going to try to fit in as much as we can in this next break because there's some audio I want you guys to hear.
Yeah.
The most important one is that your president is full of
stuff.
He is. That's all coming up next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Now more than ever, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to The Vic Porcelli Show.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
Made in St. Louis, for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Tim Jones here with Stewie, the bagel loan guy. Stewie, mom and dad always told me don't refinance unless you can save at least 1 percentage point. What say you?
We're going to break that rule of thumb with the bagel loan. No closing costs at all. Now, your mom always told you that because there was $3,000-$4,000 in fees you had to pay. If you're saving $100 a month, it takes you 40 months to recoup it. With the bagel loan, no closing costs at all.
What happens if rates drop?
Tim, just do it again. As long as it doesn't cost you anything, you'll be way ahead of the game, and that's what counts.
314-324-4440, or better yet, just Google the bagel loan.
MLS number 226715.
The U.S. Submarine Force is known as a silent service. As a 20-year naval submarine officer, I can no longer stay silent about what is going on in our schools. Hello, I'm Sam Young, and I'm running for the Francis House School Board. The local NEA supports candidates who push sexual indoctrination and political activism in our schools. Let's go ahead and torpedo that. Instead, we need to focus on academic excellence, promote traditional values of hard work and meritocracy, and remove radical activism. Vote for veteran Sam Young on April 2nd. Paid for by Citizens for Sam Young. Join Lockhart Treasurer.
Katie here, and I'd like to talk to you guys about Michael's Flooring Outlet. You could gain peace of mind with Michael's Flooring Outlet for your flooring and carpet installation needs. Their team of experts ensures that the job is done right the first time, providing you with attentive and a personalized service. Just like my parents, you can trust them to replace your old carpet with beautiful hardwood flooring. Visit one of their 3 locations in Dardenne Prairie, St. Peters, or Creve Coeur, or check them out at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
The Cardinals open the 2024 season at home on Thursday, April 4th. Don't miss the tradition and excitement of opening day at Busch Stadium. That day, all fans 21 and older will take home the 2024 Magnet schedule thanks to Budweiser. Never miss a game with this convenient information hub. That's Thursday, April 4th, the Cardinals home opener and the 2024 Magnet schedule presented by Budweiser. Tickets still remain. Get yours at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Lance Lynn, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
On Sunday, April 7th, the Cardinals host the Marlins. And that day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home their own long-sleeve hooded pullover. Everyone will want this light blue, lightweight, and stylish pullover that features a popular throwback logo. Following the game, kids 15 and younger can participate in the High Chew Kids Run the Bases. That's Sunday, April 7th. Great seats remain. Get yours at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Nolan Gorman, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob Carter. Did you know that every day 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 and need help deciphering their Medicare options? I want to tell you about my lifelong friend, Pamela Berry, Pilgrim Pammy. She has over 2 decades of experience dealing with Medicare insurance. She's an expert specializing in business owners, but she can assist you too. She'll help you navigate and uncomplicate Medicare. With nearly 70 plan options, special enrollments may be available. Call Pilgrim Pammy at 314-659-9841.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point.
I didn't particularly enjoy the movie Con Air, but there is one memorable quote from Steve Buscemi's character that has always stayed with me. As airborne prisoners rock out to Sweet Home Alabama, Garland Green observes, "Define irony. A bunch of idiots dancing around on a plane to a song made famous by a band that died in a plane crash." I'll confess, I've often struggled with the concept of irony. A lot of things that are deemed ironic actually aren't, and a clear definition of it eludes me. It's a bit like obscenity. I think I know it when I see it, but Green's definition of it helps clarify it somewhat. At least his example nails it better than most of the ones offered by Alanis Morissette in her iconic but maybe not ironic song. So it occurred to me, as I wrote an article Tuesday about the latest order issued in former President Donald Trump's upcoming criminal trial in New York, that perhaps I'd stumbled across some legal irony. I mean, isn't it ironic that a gag order has now been issued in a hush money case? Or is that maybe just a bad dad joke dressed up in legalese?
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, St. Louis, my name is Rob Carter. If you are sick and tired of the corporate news bubble, if you like unedited information free from corporate money, if you want straight talk with no script, join me weeknights from 8 to 10 p.m. on The Rob Carter Show.
Live and local, weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Whoosh.
You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Ken, how appropriate that you played Joe Biden trying to say Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary.
Yes.
Who?
Buttigieg.
A couple things, okay? This Francis Scott Key Bridge situation, you know.
Yeah.
Biden, is he going to go there?
Probably immediately.
Well, it took him a year to get to East Palestine, Ohio.
375 days.
Yeah. Could you be a little bit more specific? All right, so listen, this president, and you know what? I said to my wife, I hate even calling him the president. I really do. Talk about an illegitimate president. If there's ever been an illegitimate president, this is the one.
Yeah. He's the resident.
Every time a story happens, every single time, Joe Biden has to put himself in the story, even if it means making something up. And we joke about, oh, he was born a poor black child and all this kind of stuff. But this one, I think, as innocent as it sounds, is the worst one ever.
Yeah.
Here's Joe Biden's comments on the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse.
At about 1:30, container ship struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which I've been over many, many times commuting from the state of Delaware either on a train or by car. Been in Baltimore Harbor many times.
Can you get me the train schedule for the trains that go over the Francis Scott Key Bridge?
Not only is he a liar, but now he's a construction worker because he's building things that he crosses over with.
What are you saying? There is no trains?
There's no bridge.
Are you saying there's no tracks?
There's no track ever has been.
Huh. But somehow he must have been in, like, the St. Louis Zoo train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go. Well, that actually goes on a track too.
Yeah, that does.
So he couldn't even. So he has to put himself into a story, and the people around him should know he's going to do it and say, look, Mr. President, trains don't go over that bridge. So if you're going to say please don't, okay? It was built before you were born, so please don't say you built it, okay? Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner on his own. You didn't help him with the lyrics at all, right?
Right.
Yesterday, so every day, just a little, behind the curtain stuff. Every day after the show, Ken is up my ass about make your promo, do your promo, monkey boy. So yesterday, the promo was, what's Joe Biden going to say about this bridge? Is he going to say he helped build it? He wrote the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner for Francis Scott Key? Not even thinking that he would have said that he's gone over the bridge on a train.
Some clown trains, appropriately, don't require a rail.
There you go.
There
Perfect.
it is.
Perfect. So there you go. I'm surprised he didn't say he built it. I swear to God. I'm surprised he didn't say, I put on my hat, my construction hat, and I soldered in every one of those bolts on that
my
train.
dear old granddad,
Yeah,
he was a part of the building crew that he'd go in. Nobody knows this, but he went in on his own at night and built it and then went home.
He also said, money doesn't buy you happiness, son.
No.
Okay, that's that. Now, let's move over to MSNBC because this network continually comes in last when there's any big political story, right? Whether it's
far last, yes.
If it's a debate or whatever's happening, more people watch SpongeBob than watch MSNBC.
Correct. I'm sorry. You said SpongeBob. I should have said
correct. That's right. So
that hurt.
It's okay. Sorry. So now the big thing is they really don't know, Ken, that Donald Trump is being railroaded with all these court procedures and cases against him.
Yeah.
They think he really deserves it. Why? Because they just don't like him, right?
Honestly, I don't think they even know. I don't think they believe that he deserves it, but they want him to have it.
Right. So $454 million was the original dollar figure. It was reduced to $175 million, and some douchebag guest on MSNBC. And listen to this guy's voice and tell me his name shouldn't even be douchebag, okay? Bag, comma, douche. Right? Is there a bag, comma, douche here? All right. You're on next with the Rachel Maddow. So listen to what he says. And this is how everybody at MSNBC feels. And this is how everybody on the left feels. And this is how they really think. His name is Tristan Snell. First of all, a douchebag name. Okay? Go ahead.
And honestly, this is so...
Okay, his voice. You got to...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's hard enough to interrupt.
His voice, too.
Okay.
Libtard.
And honestly, this is so infuriating, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know if I care what the process is that these judges are arriving at. Whatever it is, it's flawed. I can tell you that much. I mean, David put it well. This is a different process for this person. We have decided that he gets his own private...
Stop.
They can't even say his name.
This is a different process for this person. If you just took that one sentence and listened to it, you'd say, yeah, he's being wrongly accused of a lot of stuff. It is different for this person. That's not what he means.
No.
Go ahead.
Court of Justice. He has a private plane. He has private clubs that he lives in. Apparently, he basically fashioned himself his own private militia to try to take over the Capitol.
Stop. Two things there. The jealousy.
Oh, you can feel it.
He's got his own private plane.
His own club.
I got to drive to work every day. He's got his own club. I got to pay for my membership. Oh, and he's got a militia to take over the Capitol. Oh, my God.
So did he recruit all those people for that militia? How did you do that? How
Well,
was
first
the
of all,
process?
Ken, it's the world's worst militia. It's the worst militia ever. Please go peacefully and patriotically.
Unarmed.
Unarmed. Speak your mind. Worst militia ever.
Yeah, that would be a terrible one. And I don't think Trump would create a militia like that.
He would create a militia. All right, go ahead. Finish this.
Now he's getting his own private system of justice.
Oh,
this is an absolute travesty. It would not happen for anybody else. Anybody else, it would be like, sorry, buddy, you lost. Pay up. For him, he gets his own set of rules.
Wow.
What about for Biden?
Wait a minute. What about he's got to pay $175 million?
That's still outrageous.
You
by
know
the way.
exactly.
That is still obscene.
So that's how he rigged these court proceedings so he can pay $175 million.
That's crazy. And at the very beginning of this, let's highlight something else, Vic. He said, I don't care what the system's about. I don't care how the system works. I don't care how the jurisprudence is supposed to be performed. I want it to be different.
And honestly, this is so infuriating, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know if I care what the process is.
Stop. Okay, the process is the Constitution of the United States.
Right.
So if you don't like the process, you don't like the Constitution, plus you're a douchebag. All right, is there a bad comma douche here? All right, step up to the microphone. You're next.
I'm here.
Oh, my God. And you know what? It's that same baby stuff about Ronald
McDonald.
Ronald McDonald. We can't have her on. Can I have one more second about this?
Yeah.
Fox News, say what you want about them. They have people who are conservatives doing shows. Got to admit that. But then they have people who are on the other side of the political fence to come in and debate.
Yeah.
All the time, right?
Yes.
Jessica Tarloff and, every other lib turd that at least get on there to debate.
They get on there, yeah.
MSNBC has nobody like that. That's why it didn't matter that it was her or anybody else. If it was anybody who was a Trump supporter at any time or was on the right at all time, they're not allowed. Their voice in their face is not allowed on MSNBC, period.
No, like I was talking to Michelle out here about it this morning. For one thing, this is very telling because MSNBC and NBC, they hire people from the Biden, Obama, Hillary Clinton, everybody, Claire McCaskill, everybody weekly onto those networks.
But never a conservative voice ever.
But they do it one person who might even be on the right in some way, in some fashion, and they have to reject her.
Yep. All right, sorry. I made us go late. I apologize for that. And it sounded so good. Right to the music. All right, Mark Carter from the St. Louis County Council is next. And the border, by the way, is still open. So come on in. On 1019, 94.1, News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at News Talk STL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
We need to evolve our institutions and drive creative new partnerships. Let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
Let's talk about who is prepared to lead our country.
Imagine the future nightmare if Trump's back in office.
1019 and 94.1.
Once we get all of this finished, I'm going to go after one person.
News Talk STL.
There's a battle right now in our schools, and I'm ready to fight for our children's education. I'm Adriana Kuhn, and I'm running for the Francis Howell School Board. Our schools are being injected with gender ideology, critical race theory, and advanced classes have been removed for the sake of equity. My opponents are endorsed by organizations that push these agendas on our youth. I vow to keep radical ideologies out of our schools. Vote for Adriana Kuhn April 2nd so I can make a difference in your child's life. Paid for by Friends of Adriana Kuhn, Kevin Pelkey, Treasurer.
Spring is about to be sprung, and whether you're going to be opening up your windows wide to the world or having them closed to protect you from spring storms, you better have windows from Window World. Window World, simply the best for less. Why do we say they're the best for less? They're one of only 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval in the country. Just over 20 years in the business, they've improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 72,000 of our neighbors and friends in the region. A double strength of glass. They truly are the best for less. Give them a call, 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800. Check them out at windowworld.com. That's windowworld.com.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
NewstalkSTL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on NewstalkSTL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Fox News commentary.
An NYPD officer was gunned down and killed by suspects with rap sheets a mile long, but meanwhile, New York leaders are focused on getting Trump. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Say a 31-year-old NYPD officer, husband and father of a young child, was gunned down and executed by, you guessed it, career degenerates who should have never been on the streets to begin with. NYPD officer Jonathan Diller, say his name. He was gunned down and executed on Monday evening by 2 thugs. The suspects, both the shooter and the driver, have lengthy criminal records. Between the two of them, at least 16 prior arrests, including a gun charge for the driver less than a year ago. This can be directly tied to New York's lax and ludicrous felon coddling policies. Those policies give thugs the benefit of the doubt at the expense of decent folks. The war on cops rages on, and meanwhile, the leaders of that godforsaken city and state are preoccupied with getting Trump. Shameful. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Whoosh. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Whoosh.
Vic. Yo, Vic.
On NewstalkSTL.
Whoosh.
I don't even deserve you. I don't even deserve a guy as good as you.
So much fun working with you, though, Vic.
Sounds
it's so
great.
fun working with you.
All right, listen. I need to do an emergency chat box check. Can we do that?
Yes, we can.
It's an emergency.
Let's do it.
It's such a great chat box today.
Oh, you want?
I can't do it without the. Okay. Tom started us off this morning with Good Wednesday morning. You know who this is. Whoosh, my all-American, ultra-MAGA, freedom-loving Vic-head family. Today is March 27th. There are 299 days left till the end of the era. We've broken the 300-day mark.
Yay.
Masood says, hi.
Hi, Masood.
Barry Biggs. I'm surprised. This is about Kamala. I'm surprised she didn't refer to Russia as the motherland. Can I just say something about Barry Biggs?
Yeah.
My wife made me my favorite thing, right, for my birthday, ayoyo. I put a picture of it on Facebook, and Barry goes, oh, even with the bucatini noodles. I was like, how did you know they were bucatini noodles? It's not like a spaghetti, thin spaghetti. It's completely different. But I checked the chat box when I wasn't here. You think I didn't go check the chat box?
You did?
I checked the chat box, and Barry Biggs goes, oh, now the adults are in the room. Now the adults are doing the show. Barry, you can kiss my ass. And, I'm kidding. And trust me, I love comments like that. Will says, arguing with a liberal is like playing chess with a pigeon. They knock over the pieces and then poop on the board and then strut around like they won.
Exactly right.
And Kamala's the head pigeon. Dave says, another stellar show, all the sound clips and sound bites. I wish we could share them all on Facebook and other social media. Ken is so good at putting together these clips. The show, the complete idiocy of the... I'm here too, right? Am I here? What the hell?
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Question for Mr. P and W. Any truth to the rumor that... No, I'm not answering that question. David again says, NewstalkSTL live and local, and because of the Democrat scum, it's also live and loco.
Yes.
And then he says, oh, Spanish lingo for crazy. Loco. A little Spanish lingo there for you. All right, that's it. Let's go. All right, let's go. Let's move. Let's get Mark Carter on here and talk about the craziness of the St. Louis County Council.
From the County of St. Louis.
Crime issues, economic development.
This is Mark Carter.
All rise! As the councilman enters the room. Good morning.
Oh, it's my turn?
What's that supposed to mean?
What, my turn?
Are you saying the show's boring?
I just waited my turn, that's all.
Do we have to have him on Wednesdays? Is that like a... Hi.
How you doing?
What's new in the county council?
I'm not as fired up as Tim Jones, but I'm fired up today.
That's okay. Nobody can get as fired up as Tim Jones.
Nobody can get as fired up as Tim
Any
Jones.
disruptions from the lunatic left?
Well, we had a little bit last night, but they were contained. The group has come down. They're down to about 6 people now. So they started out probably about 60, and now we're down to 6. And
so they're not that passionate about their side.
Well, they had a very passionate one. Had a very passionate speech about women being abused and raped and things in Gaza, by the Israels and things like that. So it was I don't know. She could probably have gotten the Academy Award for her.
I'm telling you, that's not happening.
So, but I want to make a big announcement today.
Oh my God, go!
Okay, I am not running for our Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor, Governor. I mean.
President?
Yeah. I just want to let you know that I am still running for the Senate District 15, which I've been in this groove for over a year, and I'm not switching.
That's okay.
I can't afford the business cards.
Too crowded over there anyway.
You start buying all these business cards, and you got to throw them away. But
so
now
Tim Jones was
you're frugal. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Tim Jones was talking about all the candidates for Secretary of State.
No, I know.
I think we're up to about 50 now, and same way with Lieutenant Governor. So, and 3rd District Congress. So, I just want to set the record straight. I am still staying to what my original commitment was, which is Senate District 15. So that's my big announcement.
How is that campaign going?
It is doing great. We've got a big fundraiser and coming up in the end of April, the end of May now, and we may have some celebrities there. So we're working on that. If anyone would like to be invited to this, it will be at a location. Undisclosed location as of yet.
Undisclosed guests, undisclosed location.
So we'll let you know when we get closer to the date where it is, and it's a great location. And so go to my website, markfarmissouri.com, and register that you'd like to be invited, and we'll see if we can get you on the invite list. Okay. So, but that's going on. But everything's going on great there.
Good.
And moving forward,
I'm glad everything's going well.
A lot of good traction.
Now, when you get down there, when you win and you get down there,
you'll be invited.
To what?
To the inauguration.
Oh, I get to be at the inauguration.
So you'll have the music and everything and the pomp and circumstance?
Well, you can do live. You can do a live show from there.
Okay.
Just to be clear, he's not graduating from high school. Pomp and circumstance is the graduation theme.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. But so the thing is, this Freedom Caucus down there is really making some inroads.
Right.
And I asked Nick yesterday and Tim today, are people saying, hey, you know what? These guys are pretty solid and they know what they're doing. So maybe when you win, you'll be in there just at the right time to be, maybe we don't need the Freedom Caucus by the time you get in because the rhinos will understand what's important.
I think so. And I think so that, some of the folks that are on the Freedom Caucus now will be termed out. So they'll need some new members.
Yeah.
So we'll be discussing that in the days and months to come.
Caleb Browden's getting termed out too, so that's good.
So it'll be a big sea change next year, especially in the Senate, and the House always is in flux, but I think the Senate's going to change a lot next year.
Well, you know what? I mean, it doesn't take that many more.
No.
Good, solid conservatives like yourself to get in there and help make some good changes in the state.
So a couple things I'm on the rant today is people have been seeing, hopefully in the news, about the issues we're dealing with Page not paying for the services of some charities that we contracted with, and he's not paying their bills. Should have been given to them through the ARPA funding, and he is holding up 5 different charities, and it's about almost $1 million of money that should be going to these charities. He's holding that up, and he's holding that hostage on the council because we control the purse strings, but he writes the checks. So, separation of powers and such. So he's doing that right now, and people need to know about that. But the big thing that I'm just totally fired up about is the senior tax credit. I pushed this through. Councilman Dennis Hancock and I worked together on this. He came up with the last version of this, and Page is holding up funding for the implementation of this program. It's going to take some money. This is a function that we never did before. So we're going to have to hire some people, which means you got to pay salaries. We're going to have to, buy some computer software and things like that. And he's holding this money hostage. So we're going back and forth. And then yesterday, at just prior to our meeting, he runs through some communication on this, what's called Project Cornerstone, which is the rebuilding or the retrofitting of our county council building in Clayton. And so it's a huge project. And so instead of consulting with the council, he's just driving this train now, and he's just pushing it. He wants to hire real estate people to find a new location. He's contracting with people and things like that. So we're gonna push back on this because the voters ultimately are going to have to decide on this. Do they want to be taxed more for a bond to pay for this huge construction project in the county? So we're going to keep pushing back on all the leverage that we can on this. And I hope these charities who have gone out on their own and spent their own money to service the region get the money they deserve and get it from this administration.
All right.
I've never met a group of people that are so unimaginative, can't think out of a box, can't come up with creative solutions to these problems. And we try to do that every day, and they are just tone deaf to the people of St. Louis County. So I hope people start calling the Page administration and say, pay your bills.
Listen, okay, we talk all the time about narratives, right? And how, Joe Biden, we played Joe Biden yesterday, Ken, saying the Republicans said, don't say gay bill, right? And we talked about how they take narratives and they move them around to not be true.
Right.
So you have something that is true, and the narrative needs to be Sam Page is stealing from charities.
Right.
Sam Page is stealing from babies, from senior citizens, from blacks. That's the narrative it needs to be. And it needs to be pounded home like they pound home false narratives when at least our narrative is true.
Now, that's a long bill title, but you could shorten that up a little bit.
Right, right.
I'll bet.
No, basically, Sam Page, pay your bills. Pay these people that have done the service for St. Louis County, pay the bills. And he's got the control to do that.
I agree. But
and then we can maybe talk about other things, but let's start there.
I don't think that's strong enough, Mark. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to argue with you, but that's not strong enough. He doesn't pay his bills? No, he's stealing from charities. He's stealing from poor people. He's stealing from people who need assistance. That's what the narrative needs to be.
Right.
Maybe under the guise of pay your bills.
Right.
Right. So
you're right on it. You're right on it. So
right.
Yeah, no, this is unbelievable what's happening in St. Louis County, and people need to wake up to it and move forward because it's going to come back and haunt us. And as we were kidding before, this is Build Back Broke, and we're going to be Build Back Broke in St. Louis County if we don't start paying our bills.
All right. Now, the next thing is, and we only have about a minute or so or less to talk about this, is, we have no time to talk about it. Next week, let's talk about what the next county council will look like when you win this election. A little scary.
It is.
All right, Mark, thanks. Thanks for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
You know what I'm saying? When he's gone, that's a conservative seat that's gone.
Yes.
All right, Dan Bongino is next. Kenny and I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, live and local conservative talk.
Kickstart your spring with Spring into Green savings on a John Deere compact tractor at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. For a limited time, we have 0% financing for 84 months with 0 down on select models. Plus, when you purchase an in-stock model year 23 compact tractor, you'll save up to an additional $2,500. Take home the tractor of your dreams today. Visit snpartners.com for more information.
Offer valid through 4/26/2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Throughout these chilly Midwestern months, where are you going to go for some hometown goodness? That would be Espino's Mexican Grill. Espino's Mexican Grill, located in 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road, serving up ooey gooey Mexican authentic goodness every single day of the week. I've been going to Espino's for years. They got the Taco Tuesdays. They got the awesome menu. They got the coldest drinks in town, and it is the fresh alternative to your typical Mexican fare. That's Espino's Mexican Grill, Espino'sMexicanBarGrill.com. Go to Espino's today, 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road. We'll see you there.
Tony Colombo here, along with Tim Jones, for Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Rodney and Jen are the #1 home selling team in the area, and I could say that from personal experience. They sold our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible, which put us in a great position as we tried to find our perfect new home. And with help from the Wallners, that's exactly what we did. Christine and I couldn't be happier with our experience working with Rodney and Jen Wallner. And Tim, the numbers speak for themselves.
That's right, Tony. Everybody knows the Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. And if you're looking to sell your home, right now they have so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. They're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, so no matter where you are in the St. Louis region, you can put the Wallners' experience and work ethic to work for you. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call Rodney and Jen Wallner now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
In the fast-paced world of digital marketing, making connections is a challenge for any business. But what if we told you there's a place where connections aren't just made, they're grown? Meet 2060 Digital, your premier Google partner and top-tier digital agency. We don't just follow trends, we set them. At 2060 Digital, we're not just another agency, we're your strategic partner. We dive deep into your challenges and develop solutions that drive measurable outcomes. Ready to elevate your digital presence with campaigns that connect? Google 2060 Digital today.
My name is Todd Showalter, and I'm announcing the Right Mind Show is officially running Saturday nights at 5. I'll now open the floor for questions.
Is the Right Mind Show funny at all?
No comment. Next question. Yeah, you, different reporter with the same voice.
Your co-host is very cute.
Not a question. I've got time for one more.
Do you do any impressions on the Right Mind Show?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Joe Biden getting out of bed.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Saturday afternoons at 5 on News Talk STL.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Correspondent Julie Walker reports on recovery for the missing Maryland bridge workers and the latest on the investigation.
6 bridge workers presumed dead after our cargo ship hit Maryland's Key Bridge Tuesday, knocking it down. Governor Wes Moore praising the divers searching for those workers.
They are down there in darkness where they can literally see about a foot in front of them. They are trying to navigate mangled metal.
The governor was asked about criminal charges against the ship, which said it lost steering.
It's still too early in the investigation to rule anything in or out.
Meanwhile, the government will pay to rebuild the bridge, which not only affects the state. Ship traffic at the Port of Baltimore suspended indefinitely.
This port is responsible for over 51 million tons of foreign cargo. That's the largest in the country.
I'm Julie Walker.
Also at townhall.com, a federal appeals court has refused to lift an order that blocks Texas from arresting and deporting migrants suspected of illegally crossing the border. The ruling is the latest development in the seesaw legal battle over Republican Governor Greg Abbott's strict new immigration law. Correspondent Ben Thomas has the latest on Donald Trump's hush money trial.
A New York judge has issued a gag order barring Donald Trump from making public statements about witnesses, prosecutors, court staff, and jurors in his upcoming hush money criminal trial. Granting a prosecution request for that order, Judge Juan Merchan cited Trump's previous comments about him, as well as others involved in the case. And with the April 15th trial date approaching, Merchan wrote, "The risk of harm is now paramount." The order also bars Trump from directing others to make public statements about people involved in the trial, but it does not apply to Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, because he's an elected official. I'm Ben Thomas.
More of these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word FAITH to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Leah Hill. Many starting with a freeze as you head out early. If you're west of St. Louis, you are under a freeze warning until 9 a.m. Temperatures as you head out in the 30s, but this will give way to 54 degrees this afternoon. Decreasing cloud cover, but today is the coolest day of the week. Tomorrow, we are back in the 60s, and I have many 70s ahead of us in the week ahead. Storm chances starting some point on Sunday and continuing through Tuesday morning. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Hey, News Talk STL listeners, it's Kara with Thrive Metro East. I'd like to personally extend an invitation to you. It's a really special year for the Thrive Metro East family as we are celebrating 30 years of ministry and over 3,600 lives saved. This wouldn't have been possible without you. Can you believe it? 3,600 destinies changed forever. Thank you for your heart for the unborn and for your passion to empower parents. To celebrate, we are coming together on April the 5th at Lewis and Clark Community College Commons for the Thrive Metro East 30-year anniversary experience. Join us along with powerhouse speaker Melissa Oden, who is truly